Okay, we're back. Today is August the 26th, 2021. And I want to go over a couple announcements. We do have a test today. And if I can't get this worked out, I've got a little video. It's only a 2-minute video, and I hope it works. I didn't get all the pictures, and I was having trouble with the phone connected with the computer. So I did want to show y'all a little bit of that tracking and some of the pictures that we found. I mean, some of the things that we found. But I hope this will work. I'm going to try this really fast. I hope this works. I hope this is all that I have to do. And it looks like it's uploading, so it may just take a second. But I did the podcast today. That was one of the announcements. But the audio and everything cheap. So I'm not sure if we're going to do it again or phone, and I'm going to send that to the host. And if that works, then we're also going to play that one. And right now, I'm trying to get this little video up for you. But I also have on Facebook 2 Facebook pages. One is the Oklahoma Prepared to Watch and Please Antlers and Surrounding Areas. The other one that I have on Facebook is also called Choctaw Missing and Murder, WOMBMAN, and Sun Center and Database. And of course, we have this channel here that we share information. Today's about a test. The museum is still scheduled to put museum. And hopefully we'll have a display or some pictures from us in this area. We did find some Bigfoots about 2 days ago. I'm gonna see. Hey, Malcolm, I'm glad you're here. I tried to get this hooked up where I think Faith Walker sent me a message a little earlier, but I was the mirror that we put in the window that made them see themselves. You know, they snuck up on themselves and seen themselves. So that pretty much discouraged them from coming back in that window. You could hear that they were caught off guard. Especially me, I've been able to catch them off guard, or they didn't know we were there, or even if they were there and they knew we were there, they vacated the areas. They got out of the way. They didn't want anything to do with us. Like people say, they were curious, but with us, they weren't curious at all. They didn't want anything. The the pigs. We passed up the deer. We were stealthy moving. We had spears and weapons. So they knew that we weren't there hunting deer and pigs and things like that, animals. But the Bigfoots didn't. We were not hunting. So we do have the test day. I was trying to get that video up, and let me see if I can find it. It says it's still uploading. So I was wondering, did anybody hear that music? If y'all did, I could just turn the screen around. Ah, I've got a countdown. This is the first time I've used put a video on this. And like I said, I didn't get all the video. I didn't get all the pictures on here. Some of the traps, some other prints. Like I said, I had that podcast today. I worked all night just getting this little together. And then, of course, I had to help some people this morning. So I was kind of in and out trying to get everything video up. And if I can't, we're going to go ahead and continue with the test. It's only a couple of questions because if you know, if you paid attention, then these questions will be easy. But you're going to see these answers. You're going to see, you're going to walk into a place and you're going to see a hieroglyph somewhere, maybe at a museum, and you're going to say, "Oh, I know what that is." And the curator, they won't know what you're talking about. And if you've heard the story, it's a said it didn't load. Let me see if I can just drop it. I'm gonna try it one more time. The first time it didn't load, but what time is it? It's 9:38. So if it doesn't load, or regardless, at 9:45 is when we're gonna start the test over those questions, and then I want to talk a little bit more about more signs to look out for, um, things that will help you when you're in the forest areas. Some things that we kind of went over the other day, but we was going so fast that we want to kind of slow everything back down and let you know what we might have missed. We had a good talk today on the Native Chalk Talk podcast. Although it was going in and out. I don't know if anybody was able to listen to that podcast, and it's going to for a Halloween thing, which I would just let it go out now so people know now instead of but it's only a month away, but still people are going to start camping again. It's starting to get cooler, so we need everybody knowing what's going on, um, so that you're safe out there, your families are safe. It's only a 2-minute video, and I just I just wish it would just work. I didn't hear back from a friend today who was supposed to be telling us if we did get a couple sponsors, or if and I think they was waiting on this video too, but this is not a video that I was send. As soon as my phone gets fully loaded, I'm going to do the same thing but use the phone because I got more pictures on there. It was just a big hassle trying to get that loaded onto the computer, then put that onto the program, and then going back over it because I had to look at every picture, every video, had to slow it down, stabilize it, um, because some of the times we weren't, just looking through the binoculars. We were holding it certain ways or holding it to the side, so we still had the image of us looking this way, but we was recording this way, or we was recording behind us or something. But so it was like it would be if it was on a tripod. So I had to do a lot of stabilizing, um, had to blow it up, and we got some really good prints. I just wish I could have put more video on it, but I will with the next one. And it's supposed to be loading up on YouTube as we speak anyway. But in 4 more minutes, we're going to start the test. It should be a very easy test. Well, they made it look so easy, but it's not loading as the way it really should be. If it doesn't load, then we're going to start the test. This I'm not used to this yet. Oh, Faith Walker. It's getting glitchy. And that's what it did with the other stream. Yeah, Malcolm, it was on and off. That thing was cutting in and out today. And I think it was mine too again. And oh, you heard the music. Oh, great, great. So I can show you the video even if it doesn't load. And if it did, I'll just turn the screen around. Oh no, it's okay. Could everybody hear that music a little bit? Okay, everybody can hear the music. That's great. I'm going to turn this around to the video because it's not loading, but I'm going to turn this cam around and show you it's just a little bit because we didn't get everything done, but I will upload a longer version later. But I do want to show you a couple things and a couple of prints of where we were. Okay. Everybody can hear the music. Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and turn this. Bear with me a second. I'm going to play the video for you so you can see it, and then I'll turn it back to share that with you real fast, and hopefully it won't freeze as much as it has been. But I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. And here goes. That's the translucent Bigfoot. And here's one that's sitting right here. It's translucent. Here's a deer. I hope everybody got a little look at that. I'm not sure if you could see that kind of good enough to see all the tracks and everything that we found out there. But if not, we are going to upload that on Facebook. I mean, YouTube. Got a longer version with more of the um, traps and the bridges that we talked about. How they will knock a tree over, and it looks like a great place to cross because it's in a ravine. And all the things that we talked about, they were there exactly what we were talking about. So if you're paying attention here, that when you're out there somewhere, you're going to see exactly what we're talking about. Run across these things, and you're going to see that's exactly what they were talking about. I mean, it's exactly like he was talking about. Or Malcolm, he's seen a whole bunch of different styles, but it's still the same thing. Put those logs over there, like we talked about on one of the tests. It's a log. If you see it crossing a ravine or a waterway, it is a trap. They'll be on both sides. First one that you could tell was a lot of traffic. You also seen where a lot of the animals had jumped down from that log. So if you've got two down, and we also talked about that, we said even though down looks like an option, it's not because they're down there too. One's at this end of the ravine, or a couple is at this end of the ravine, a couple is at this end of the ravine. They're just waiting for that game to come around that corner. And whenever we found that one spot, me and Malcolm, we said, well, we're going to have to go around the corner. We need to find out where, whenever they run around the corner, that's where they'll be went around that ravine and went down just a little ways. We found a blockage area where if anything was running down the ravine, it would run right into a wall or a trap. And that's where we found other footprints. We found it looks like you could tell a lot of animals congregated right there, but you didn't see them leaving. You just seen that they were boxed in right there, and it was a perfect trap too. I mean, you couldn't get up the other side. I mean, it was slick clay, so even like one of us, even if we was trying to climb up through there, we would have difficult, and then being foot or ran if we walk trap. A lot of people just walk into them, but if we did walk into it, there was no easy exit. And if you get up on top of that ridge, it takes them already moving in position. If you ever watched a panther, a lion, or even a cat, you can watch them. They will get, and Bigfoots do get on all fours and crawl like that. So they will get down as low as they can with a high brush, and they will move in stealthy with their weight distribution because they got four now. And if you ever watch a lion or a cat walk with weight distribution, they hardly leave a print. All their weight is wherever they need to step, their weight's holding in the back or it's up in the front. But it doesn't look like this is going to load. It's taking too long. So we're going to go ahead and start with the test. Hopefully it does, but if it doesn't, it will be on YouTube, and we'll be doing a longer one later. But if it is, then I will show you. I will show you that video again. Okay, everybody's got it. And Faith Walker says, "Dang, that the creek that winds around our house in three sides has three recent trees down. All three sides, yes. So those trees are pushed down or knocked down or pulled down, and they're used as traps." Faith, I know you got some out there. I've seen your pictures. I know you've got some out there. And if you have a husband, we need to deter that. We need to break their traps up. Let them know that their traps are there. Like me, I'll go if I see them around the house. I'll go and I'll tear them up. I'll leave stones saying that or sticks or debris saying that I found this treasure. I know that they're there, and if you find stones and things like that those are messages. You have to read sign language, and they're not going to write down a message for you. Decipher it. What are these? How many stones are here? And most of the time, when not one single one, they mean that either this is one house or this is one family or it's just one person. But they got 3 to 8, and they're saying, we're around. This is how many we got, and you got one, or you got just one family. So what I do is I always put like long sticks around those 8, just let them know I've got you surrounded. I know where I know what you're doing. So I do speak back that way to them to where it looks like a spear, or I'm hunting, or I know what direction they're going. But that's just to deter them, because they do read sign language. They do communicate with each other, with the trees, with branches, um, sticks on the ground, arrows. But I sure did want to take picture of this one. It was on the backside where we were walking, and yes, Faith, we got to determine. And I don't know if you heard us the other night about using Clorox in your vent hoods. Clean your vent hoods where you cook at, and every night make sure you dip a cloth in Clorox and put it in that vent and seal it up with like I use tape and aluminum foil, and it blocks it from coming back this way, but it'll let it blow out. And it's a strong scent, and they don't like that. Once they get a big whiff of that, they're not going to come snooping their nose through there, too many more times. They'll learn to avoid that, and they'll look for other things. But too many people don't think about that. But the vent hood where they cook at, that's blowing out meat, bacon, seasoned foods, and it's aroma to them. So they always check your vent hoods. They'll always see what you're eating. They want to pretty much want to know what you're going to taste like. If you smell like a, all right, Faith, good. And I got pictures, also video of like little sticks that I put up, little sharp sticks around my windows, and I put them out in the yard so that they don't just walk through. They've got to look through, if they're going to come through, and they're more careful. And what will happen is they'll start going around on big old spikes and things like that. So they will start avoiding. They will look for easier prey, and that's the whole thing too. Don't be easy prey for these predators. Don't be one of those that is going to just sit down and start crying, or sit down and you got to be the one with that weapon, face to face, ready to go at it. Because if you're easy prey, they're coming in anyway. But if you deter them, if you see that they see that you're a warrior, you're ready to fight, they're going to go, find someone who's not ready to fight. Predators does not want a confrontation with someone who can kill them. They're the pack hunters, just like wolves. So always be aware of all that. And just like I was on the podcast today, and we was talking about how they use the owls, the crows, and like when we was tracking the about 2 days ago with Malcolm when he came in, we let the birds calm down, we let the horses calm down. Uh, April Alford, she goes, "What can I do to stop them from watching my grandkids when they play outside?" How far are they watching, April? What's the distance from the tree line and to where your grandkids are? I think we talked before one time, April. Um, but what I do is whenever I'm at my house or a new place, first thing I do is I go out and I track. I want to see, I don't go too far if I kind of know something's out there, but I'll always carry a weapon and something that will repeat. shoot. Don't take a single shotgun out there. You're not going to get no shots off because they are pack hunters. Okay, April Alfred says it's about 100 yards. Okay, so now with your tree line being back that far, that of course that's where they're going to set. And it's right where the edge of the trees are. They'll come down just to look underneath it to not show their feet and things like that. But apparently, April has seen these, and they're not gonna go away. They're not gonna move on. They're not gonna, especially if there's deer and things like that. If you've got animals around your house, and you've got grandkids, so a lot like I was talking about, put those spikes up. Go out into the woods and just put them up randomly. But don't let your kids go out there. Don't worry about the wildlife because if you got Bigfoots, there's not going to be wildlife right there. Uh, but you want them to know that if they come walking up and they already know where they can walk, and it's always going to be not on the game trail, not on the human trail. It's going to be on the outside of that or behind the bush or the brush. So that's where I would put little spikes up. Just you can get them at Walmart. I think for $2. I can't. They're about this long. I want to say they're called pixels or something. But just sharpen one in. Get you a hammer and use one of them and hammer down about that far, and then get your sharp one and stick it down in there. But I put mud and leaves on top of it because I want them to step on it. I don't want to be easy prey, and I don't want you to be easy prey either. So mirrors in your yard, and you can put mirrors even in the forest line because they don't want to see each other. And even though they do have a human-like face, they don't like that face. They don't want to see their own self, the eyes, the teeth. So if April, are you in Missouri? I want to say we talked before. Or Pennsylvania. I can't remember where it was, but I think we talked before. Um, but these Bigfoot, they are opportunists. Oh, you're in Alabama. Okay, Mr. Mills is also in Alabama, and he's got some out there too. So, I mean, that's a hot spot, just like Oklahoma is, and actually everywhere is. Louisiana, Mississippi. Um, they're pretty much everywhere, but a lot of people don't realize how dangerous that is for everybody because of one, just one big Bigfoot, with unarmed people and people unaware, they could probably take out what 20, 30 people each by themselves. Yeah, because if you're unarmed and you're unaware, you're easy prey. And if they're Mr. Mill says they are everywhere. Laugh out loud. Yes, they are. And every place I've went out, we found them. Even just me and Malcolm. I've never been out in that place, but I heard that they were out there, and we went out there and we found them. And they're not hard to find. You got to just know the symbols, especially like things like I was asked when I'm looking for a Bigfoot or something, what are the first signs that I look for? In that podcast today, and I told him I look for ravens, I look for crows, I look for owls, I look for wolves, I look for water because those are ambush places. And if anybody has um, encounters or have seen things, then you know that your house is also a place that they're going to come look. Um, but April, I would definitely buy me at least a 300 rifle, and I think what they call a 45-70 rifle. I know that they can be expensive, but your grandchildren, uh, they're worth more than a couple of dollars. So, and if anytime I would see them, I would let my grandkids know that if you hear me shoot, just get down or something like that. But grandma likes to shoot her gun. You don't have to say what you're shooting at, but you've got to deter these creatures from your area. You got to let them know you step to where I can see you, you're going to get shot at. And I don't know why there's so many people that think they're like Harry and the Hendersons, or that they're like a cuddly, cute bear kind of thing that only wants to help you. No, these things, they want to eat. They're looking for food. They're not watching you to hang out with you. They're waiting for an opportunity. They're watching how you react with your kids, how you react with your grandkids, how you react with your livestock and pets. They're paying attention. We're the ones that haven't been for so long, because if we had been 20 years ago, we wouldn't be having as many as we have now, because there'd be so many people who knew, and would be on alert. And towns and villages, completely complete villages have disappeared before. And the most recent that I know of is less than 10 years. It was a village in Alaska that everybody disappeared. And they happened before the first snow or the first frost, which, those are the questions I asked. And they said, yeah. And I said, I knew that because they gather food. And if there's a whole bunch of them, they will take a whole village. And if you're not prepared, you don't have your weapon, you're that easy meal for them. Like we have a complex here. I'm probably one of the only people who's prepared. If they were to come through here, they would wipe everybody out, because people still go party, people have ball games, they're watching movies at night, their TVs are on, sounds up. They can't hear anything that's going on. When it's nighttime, I don't have anything on. Um, I'm listening. I want to make sure I'm not caught unaware, or if I hear something outside, even somebody else may need some assistance. So I'm always ready. I'm always paying attention. April says, "Thanks so much. I will do that. I am in Alabama." Oh, oh, I read that one. Michelle Ebbs, yes, or yeah, but they don't normally. Seems like they want to be left alone mostly. I don't know. Michelle Ebbs. There's plenty of food in the forest. If they wanted to eat us, they could take most of us out if they wanted. Yes, very easily, because so many people aren't trained. So many people don't understand that these creatures are powerful, and they could pick you up with one hand and carry you. And so, April says, yes, my grandkids see them. We can see them even when they're camouflaged. I have been taking a gun out with me, but I will be getting a 300. Thanks so much. Yes, you don't. I use a short range shotgun for close encounters, and I also have a spear when I go out, which is 8 foot. So at least I got an 8 foot to do a couple jabs before I get to my weapon. I also carry a long knife too. If I had a pistol, I'd be carrying that, and that's what we're actually trying to do, is get better equipment for the whole group, so that everybody is prepared and we have no problems or worries about anybody, because everybody has the same amount of protection. A 300 rifle is a good long distance rifle, so um, you can deter these Bigfoot from your area. And anytime you see them, shoot, because all they're doing is they're testing right now. They want to know how far they can get close to you. Are you paying attention? When do these kids come out? Is it after 3 o'clock? Is it after 4 o'clock? Are the dogs, when they hear the dogs barking, does that mean that the kid's out? Um, where's the parents? Are the parents outside with the kids? They're paying attention. They want to know when you go back in the house, when the kids come out after dinner, get a little playtime. They want to know if they've already been up to your dog to see how far they can get with that dog. They've tested everything, and they're still testing it until they can get the right time, the right opportunity, and then that's when they take people. Yes, there is food for them in the woods, but a lot of them, because there's so many of them, they can clear out and eliminate a whole population of wildlife in a matter of months. So be careful if you see them, especially if they're watching you, especially if they're getting close to you, Be very observant. And if it was me and my kids were out there or grandkids and I seen these things walking the ridge line, looking towards the house, I would be putting a shot out there every time I'd seen them. And that would let them know if I see you, if you come over here to where my family is, you're going to get bullet. You're going to get a shot. They're predators. Don't think that they're cuddly teddy bears. These things will eat anything that they can get their hands on. So I just want you to be safe. And Universe says their hands are like five open hands full of a full grown man. They're unbelievably huge. Yes. Um, Universe says that's just the palm size. And Malcolm says, what part of Alabama are you from, April? I'm from South Bama. Malcolm's from South Bama, and Mr. Mills is from that area. So I'm glad that we're all kind of getting together and connecting because we all need to share this information because it is around. It does hunt. Universe says many of them think human blood contains magical properties. Actually, our blood does. It has healing properties. It has strength. It has memories. It has DNA. If they want to make a better predator, they would eat one of us to use our DNA to be transferred into their child or their offspring. Let me say offspring to look more human, to have less hair, you know, and then they teach them how to use their eyes, how to use their face, like sad or not aggressive. They know how to mimic those facial movements. Be very, very careful. April, she's in Southwest Alabama, and the universe says, well, the ones that way, humans at least. Well, the ones that way, humans at least. Yes, they have very large hands. They're huge, really. And people who hasn't seen these Bigfoot, and if you haven't seen them up close, because I think the closest one I seen was about 8 foot from me, and it was right outside of a pane glass window door. And it was a small room, and when I walked in, I could see the feet underneath, there was still the glass there, but you could see the feet that was underneath the curtain because it didn't go all the way down, but you could see the feet right underneath it. And I ran my thermal, and I got a big old, thermal that was, it was right outside the window, and then I hit the lights off, used my night vision, and got down, and I got pictures of his feet. And that's whenever I first started telling people, they have claws like talons, some of them, and some of them have those big, big fingernail claws. Um, but when I seen those talon feet, I was like, these things are razor sharp, deadly, even on their feet. So just like a cat will use their feet to claw and cut you up, that's the same thing these creatures will do because I've seen them. And when I seen that one climb a tree less than a year ago, um, you could hear the claws coming out of the tree. It sounded like a cat's claws coming out of like pine wood. You heard that kind of like ting, that ting, 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 ting. You could hear that whenever it was sneaking out or trying to sneak out and get back because it was called back. Um, okay, universe has a typo, she said. And Faith Walker says creepy. Yes, it is. Uh, and whenever I was telling people about these different kind of claws, of course, there was people out there saying, "Oh, that could have been a bear. That could have been a mountain lion." I said, "No, I don't know why people always suggest that it could be something else when somebody's looking directly at it." Everybody knows what a bear is. Everybody knows what a cougar is. Everybody knows what a hog is. That's not what we seen. We seen a Bigfoot. We seen multiple Bigfoots, and that's good too that we're having these camps so that if you've never seen one, that you will see tracks, you will see thermals. If you can't get a clear one, we still got thermals, we still got night vision. We'll get those. I mean, you will see what you need to see because these spots, they seem to be pretty much everywhere. I mean, in the small towns, I found them in small towns, outside of small towns. cabins, trailer parks, just out in the forest lines, And me and Malcolm, we walked a couple miles that day, but the way we walked, I mean, we was there for about 10 hours, but we was in no rush. We was scouting everything. We was checking every trap, every ravine, everything. And that's how we got so much footprints. And I don't know if y'all seen that, but there was a stool sample. It was pretty fresh, I'd say, that morning or that evening, but it was still fresh, and there was no cows out there, and it doesn't even look like a cow. There's only deer and pig, and everybody knows what that their waste looks like, and especially if you're a tracker, you know certain stool samples of different animals like rabbits and deer and turkey and things like that. Um, the universe says, from what I've seen, there are many different breeds, some with human like feet, some with wolf like feet. The universe says, but with insane claws that retract like a lion. Yes, and you can get lucky sometimes to see the footprints, but you'll see they look just like tears that are falling from that way. If you look at, because you can see that their sharp talons hit, and they don't drag their feet. They step and come up. It's like an extra bar right here in their foot. So when they come up, they like expand and come up. It's like they kind of like jump, kind of like, but it's a walk, and that's why you'll see nice looking footprints without the debris being pushed up, because they come down and back up. Now, a human will come in and drag, uh, unless you're trained not to do that. But 99% of human people, they're going to drag their feet, because we're taught to be lazy. We're not taught to be um, to walk as warriors. We're taught to, you get there when you get there. Just when so you'll see people have drag feet, drag marks, and that's how we tell with Bigfoot and human tracks and things, because a Bigfoot is more um, light on its feet, but we can still get those tracks. Um, Malcolm, he says, think some of the pics show the claw prints. Yes, there are some of those pictures where you can see the claws in them, because we have quite a bit. They're active over there. But we did get a lot of them. You can see those claw marks, and I kind of showed most of those because I wanted people to see that not only is there feet, but there's marks. There's like sharp, points in most of these, if not all of them. Faith Walker put laugh out loud. Yeah. The universe says there is a legit photo of their clawed feet somewhere on the internet. And universe says either that or extremely detailed fake. Well, April Alfred, I have pics of tracks with claws and some pics with human-like toe prints. Yes, and those are those two different kind of, and they run together. You'll have the clawed talon-like ones still living with the thick thick fingernailed Bigfoot. So, and when somebody shows me a Bigfoot photo or something like that, I look for that. That's one of the first things I look for. Are there claw marks? And if it just looks like a regular foot with no claw marks, where you can tell, then I'm like, either somebody put that there or somebody's got a big foot. But you can always tell, because there will be claw marks. There will be points at the top. And that's how I tell. Because I know they have claws on their feet and their hands. Um, so who's ready for the test? We need to go over that. It's not going to be a long test. It's only like 10 questions. But those 10 questions, do they Faith Walker, do they scratch trees like cats? They sharpen their claws on whatever they can sharpen, just like cats, just like lions. They have to sharpen their claws. Um, I haven't. The only scratches I've seen is whenever they scratch down the pine trees to get their bedding and things like that. But even the other day when I was out with Malcolm, that you could see where one clawed here, clawed here, clawed here, clawed here. You always look for that chipped, like it's chipped off. It's a discoloration, and then look for another chipped one, because when they come out of the trees, they're pulling chips off, and they'll fall to the ground. And as soon as you go look at those marks where you know that it was at, you'll see a discoloration, one little mark here. But if you look, there'll be like two or three claw marks right in those little bitty discolorations. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start the test. We're gonna make it a 10-question test, and anybody can answer. And I hope that everybody does answer so that we all get this right. Um, the first question is, where did the deceiver come from? 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 You remember the deceiver got there and said that it came from a certain place and always returned to that place. Um, Malcolm, Faith Walker. No, the serpent was actually uh, a good serpent. It wasn't a predator. It was we call it the great cosmic serpent. But Malcolm and Faith Walker are the closest, and the deceiver came from the depths of the cosmos, which is the darkness. Yes, and that's why I was like, y'all are just right there. But in the story, it's like from the depths of the cosmos. Uh, Now, hey Cliff. Uh, the second question. I think I already asked this before, but where was the sun bit? Where was the sun bit? Universe. She said, I was going to say space, which space is the same thing. Uh, Space is water. It's not air. It's not a vacuum. It's dark, murky water, which is what space. The sea, the space. All right. Malcolm, Faith Walker. Anybody else got that answer? Where was the sun bit? Where was the sun bit? What is Malcolm and Faith Walker? Both of y'all got that correct. Now, I kind of thought Cliff was going to Have that one for sure. Okay, the third question. What is another name for Sky Woman? What is another name for Sky Woman? Uh, all right, Cliff. What is another name for Sky Woman? All right, Malcolm. Come on, Faith Walker. I know you know this one. Universe. She's gonna go with Cliff. Okay, that's good enough too, right there. Universe, where you at? Where you at? What is another name for Sky Woman? Okay. All right, there we go. Cliff, Malcolm, Faith, Universe, you all are correct. Another name for Sky Woman is the moon. Okay. Rock kind of bound. I've seen them up close. Yes, rock kind of bound. Us too. So, and like that's something good about this channel. You know, most of us has either seen it or we have someone who's trusted that we know and that we Amelia Earhart. Kind of close, I guess you would say. Okay, the next question is who came to help Sky Woman when she was being attacked? Who came to help Sky Woman when she was being attacked? And if somebody was to just come in and try to listen to this conversation and try to answer these questions, they would probably be saying, "What are y'all talking about?" But everybody who's been here, we've been sharing all this. That if and that's why I always recommend that people go back and watch all this, especially before we get to camp. But who came to help Sky Woman when she was being attacked? Rock Bell, are you in Alabama too? Faith Walker. That's two answers. We only need one. Cliff says, I'm not sure, but is it the sun? The sun comes up to help Skywoman. No, remember in the story, someone came and they had battle, because Skywoman was being attacked. So they came up and they had battle, but they were also bit and also was turned upside down. That's a hint. Malcolm says 50-50. So Faith Walker. Faith Walker. I was about to say, hey, she said serpent. Then next line she says rabbit. Okay, Cliff. Okay, so Malcolm, Cliff, and Faith Walker. The answer is the great serpent. Remember? The great serpent came in to help Skywoman because she was being attacked, and it engaged in battle and wrapped around, coiled around the deceiver, and was continuously being bit until it was subdued and was turned upside down. And that goes to our next question. When the great serpent was defeated and turned upside down, the great serpent fell from the cosmos, from its migratory place. Where did the great serpent land? Where did the great serpent fall? Where is it today? Faith Walker, she says, dang it. I tried to go back and watch the video, but kept having trouble finding it. I'm sorry. Universe. Yes, that was actually on one of the test questions. I'm not sure if you was here for that. One of the first tests that we had, we were talking about the colors. Um, Universe, okay. Cliff, come on, Cliff. You know the answer. Where did the great serpent fall and where is it today? All right, Malcolm. Universe. Faith Walker. Cliff. So it looks like Faith Walker, Cliff, no, Universe, and Malcolm are into the dark members. I know that's one of the answers. That is one of the answers for another thing, but on this one, Universe and Malcolm got it correct because remember that whenever the great serpent fell over or turned over, it fell, and where Sky Woman was protecting Earth, the great serpent fell upon the face of Earth. And that's called the Milky Way. And it's still there above us today. So, yeah. Well, Malcolm has been paying uh, some attention. I'm sure he knows every one of these. But I was hoping everybody wouldn't, unless you missed like some of the story or didn't go back. Okay, next question. The Norse have the same belief. Well, like I was saying, it's in all the hieroglyphs. It's in all the ancient stones. It's a story known around the world. We just haven't been taught to it, but we haven't been taught the before. We've been taught everything after. Okay, the next question. What did we see come over the great serpent? What was it that we seen? What was it that we seen come over the great serpent? After the great serpent fell upon us, we could still see and we seen something that came across the body of the great serpent. What did we see? What did we see? We never seen it before. What did we see come across the great serpent? What was it that we seen? True in a way, Malcolm, true in a way, but it was something specific. Before we seen the face, we seen something before that came across the great serpent. I'll give just a few more. Cliff says, I feel dumb not knowing any of these answers. He said, I took notes too. Well, I'm asking certain questions because it leads to a certain answer. So um, it's kind of true in a way there, Malcolm. Um, Almost, Faith Walker. Almost. But the answer is we seen a sharp appendage come across the great serpent. And then we seen another appendage come across the great serpent until we seen the face. Okay, the next question. Where did the deceiver pierce the baby being known as Earth? Where did the deceiver pierce, like pierce, the great baby being Earth? A certain place that the deceiver pierced the cosmic baby being known as Earth. Let's be a little bit more specific, Malcolm. Because when I was reading the story, I said a specific place. But you're right there. And remember, Malcolm. Good job, Faith Walker. Almost time for the rabbit. Good job, Faith Walker. Malcolm, a little more specific. You're right there, though. You're right there. All right, Malcolm, universe. It was in the left eye of the man child, left eye of the baby being known as Earth. Good job, everybody. Yes, Faith Walker, you're gonna, just this story alone, you'll be able to match up a lot of things that are right there in front of us. Um, but yes, it was the left eye of the baby being the man child known as Earth. Okay, the next question. Where did the flood waters come from? What caused the great catastrophe? What caused Earth to flood? Or actually, where did the salty, dark, murky water come from? Because we never had it before. We only had fresh water before, fresh air. Where did the salty, dark, murky water come from? And yes, universe, they do suck the blood out of people and animals. And like Malcolm, he had one that sucked all the blood out of that animal and left him the meat. Not too long ago. Where did the salty, dark, murky waters come from that caused the great flood? Where did it come from? I can say it didn't come from clouds. Let's put it that way. You are, I would say, 98% correct. The salty, dark, murky waters came from space, come from that piercing. Remember, as soon as it was pierced, the waters started flooding in. Also, that had the temperature change because it's cold, dark, murky waters. And that temperature hitting our temperature turned into glaciers, ice, and snow. And this caused the ice age. This also caused dinosaurs with all this, but we'll get to that part also. Um, it actually, the dark murky waters came from space. Once the eye was pierced, water from space started going into the eye of the baby, and that's where we are now. Where is Earth located? Where is Earth located? Earth is in a certain place. Where is Earth located? Where is Earth located? Where is Earth located? Where is the cosmic baby being known as Earth located? I'm kind of giving you a hint here. Where is the cosmic baby being located? Close, Faith Walker. Close. Where would a baby be? Let's try to. Where is Earth located? Where is the baby being known as Earth located? Where would any baby be located? uh, okay, you're both close. Now let's take it to the womb. We could say that. Where is the womb? Where is Earth? Earth is in the womb, yes. But where's the womb? Who has the womb for Earth? Where is Earth located? Yes, it's in the womb. Whose womb? Where is Earth located? You're right there. I know that you're gonna get it. Belly, yes. Okay, that's we're getting there. Malcolm. Come on, everybody. Malcolm. Who has a womb? What's another name for sky woman? Womb, man. What's another name for sky woman? Remember, she has Earth inside her. Where is Earth located? Yes, Faith Walker, you are correct. Malcolm, you're correct. But Faith Walker, what's another name for Sky Woman? And you'll have it. Faith Walker says we need to retest. What's another name for Sky Woman? The moon's womb. Okay, we're getting it. The moon's womb. Yes, we're there. Earth is inside the moon. Yes, in the mother's womb, which is Sky Woman. Earth is inside the moon. You have to realize everything is spiritual. It's not physical like we're trying to look through here. The spiritual, the spiritual Sky Woman and the sun are see-through, blue, like a light blue person. You can see through spirituality. You can see through apparitions, see through. So we're still getting light, even though still in the womb. We're still getting light. We are inside the moon's womb. We are inside the moon. Now, when you talk about things like that, uh, the people who call themselves medicine people, experts, scientists, whatever, they're not going to know what you're talking about. And that's how we know that they don't know what they're talking about. If they can't go back this far, they shouldn't be talking about things happening now because, like we said, if you don't start with the beginning, you're always going to be wrong. Okay, the next question. Where is the rabbit hole? Where is the rabbit hole? Everybody hears the expression down the rabbit hole, or do you really want to know how far the rabbit hole goes? Um, but the rabbit did come at a certain place at a certain time when it crossed, and that hole was there, that portal was there, and the rabbit came into Earth. Yes, the moon has a portal and the Earth has a portal, but it was a certain time that the rabbit came through the portal door. Um, Let me make the question a little bit more easier. When when the rabbit came into Earth, it used a portal. What is the name of that portal time? Uh, Let me give you a little bit more hint. It's either the equinox or it's the solstice because those are the portal times. And I even want to say that if you get a Chinese map, this rabbit will be right at this portal, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is the equinox, Faith Walker, but which equinox? When it came down the rabbit hole by the 11:11 mark. Remember we talked about that. And at this same time, we have ceremonies to keep that door closed. You're almost there, Faith Walker. Almost. Actually, the spring equinox has to do with eating of our people with the single celled eggs, which is us. And the rabbit came here, so you're going to see the eggs with the rabbit as far as us. And then you're going to have a black robe that's following the rabbit that's going to be there with the rabbit. Malcolm, ding, ding, ding. You are correct. It is the fall equinox. That's where the rabbit hole is. The rabbit does come up in the spring, and that's also where the black robes or the deceiver will follow the rabbit to the eggs, which the eggs are a symbol for human people, for the single cell organism to eat people. And if you see people in movies eating boiled eggs or scrambled eggs, that's a predator in that movie. Um, yes, Faith Walker. It is the fall equinox, and that's where the rabbit hole is. And that's also over the line that separates us from the African continent. And remember, that's where they came in. Yes, 11:11 is an open door time. And that's also November the 11th. And that's also where the creature is right above the fall door. It's sitting there, it's waiting to come back in. And people still do see these things, and you can still see them, and I'll show you some places to look. Um, oh, Universe is, I think she's talking to someone else. Um, okay, the next question. Um, when did time begin? When did time begin? Faith Walker says, wow, about 7 to 7 years ago, I started noticing 1111 everywhere after a dream. Yeah, those are open door times, and you was open. Um, we also use that to slip through things if we need to get by, let's say, border guards in El Salvador. We used a eclipse time and the 1111 time, and we went straight through without having any problems. Um, Faith Walker, okay. When did time begin? Good answer, Faith Walker. But when did time begin? And we ended with this um, to let you know when time began, because now everything from when time began starts history. This, what we're talking about, is before known history, and it's only shared in the hieroglyphs and the stones. Yes, Malcolm, you are correct. Faith Walker, you are correct. Where is Cliff? But time began when the moon was turned upside down and turned away from the light. Half of the earth's face was covered with the murky water, which is darkness. So when that happened, we lost all that light. So now we started to age. And that's whenever we started to die. And we've been getting less light, less light periodically through eons and through generations. We have less light now. The calendars have been changed so many times. It also used to be a moon calendar. Now it's a sun calendar. Everything's changing. There used to be more days in a calendar year. They shortened those. You ever heard Christmas in July? That used to be the December time, but it got shortened. Oh, there's Cliff said he's here. Yes, Cliff, as soon as the moon got turned upside down and backwards, because the earth is inside the womb, we also got turned upside down and backwards. And that's when the water, we got into the water and darkness came. And with that piercing, because we was in the water, that piercing let the salty, murky water into earth. And that's when the floods came up. And now the next question. What animal, what animal was in the mountains already when this catastrophe was happening? What animal was already in the mountains when this catastrophe happened? What animal was already in the mountains when this catastrophe happened? When we were attacked, when we were invaded, what animal was already in the mountains when this catastrophe happened? Almost, Cliff. Cliff, I thought you was close, Malcolm, close. But there was an animal. There was an animal, and all the animals ran up to the mountains, but there was an animal that was already up in the mountains. And if you really think about it, that animal's still there today. Almost universe. Everybody's like, almost. Wait. Okay, the answer is the ram. The ram was already in the mountains. Close enough, Malcolm. Goat. But it was the ram. The ram was in the mountains. And remember, I said that people were being mixed with the ram. It was being mixed with the serpent because it came through the serpent first. Faith Walker, yes, the ram. Okay, now when the waters receded, what was the next creature to find land, to come to land? What was the next creature to find land? When the waters receded, what was the next creature to find land? And remember in the story, I was saying that hey Malcolm, all right. I'll give everybody else a little bit more, a few more seconds there, Malcolm. Very good. We'll go with that one also. Um, mommy. Should I call you SMA one mommy or mommy for short or and I'll even read that little bit to you. It says, all were eaten with the DNA of the great serpent. The deceivers began to mix the animals together by eating and laying eggs. Forms of predator, serpent, ram, man are being mixed as they're all that remains. When the great waters receded, the blank back to land. Okay, mommy, thank you. It's kind of weird saying that though. Yes, Faith Walker, mommy, Malcolm, all of y'all are correct. The birds, remember the when the waters receded, now the birds are flying in. And in the story it says, when the waters receded, the birds flew back to the tops. The creature too waits at the tops for the birds. Each bird, as each bird lands, each bird is eaten. And now the creature mixes the birds with all eaten. Now, once the rams are eaten, the people are eaten, the birds are eaten, what was the next creature or next animal to be used as food? And if we think about this, the rams are the meat, the birds, and now there's just water there. What do you find? What was the next life source that was used for food? Hey, everybody got that one. You are correct, except for Faith Walker. Where is Faith Walker? Where's her answer? Give her just another second. Okay. Now, The last question. Yes. The last question. People where the sun rises watch the catastrophe and the formation of the first man like predator. What was the bite like, and was the first man like predator a vegetarian or a cannibal? What was the bite like of the first man like predator, and was the first man like predator a vegetarian or a cannibal? Kathy Galbraith, hydrate. Hi, Kathy. How are you doing? Faith Walker. Between Malcolm and Cliff's answers, laugh out loud. Well, I'm glad we're getting all these answers, and I know that if someone hasn't listened to the whole story, some of these questions and things like that, some of these answers are not going to make sense, or they're going to sound like, what are these people talking about? But it is a story before time began, and we've been sharing that for the last couple of episodes. Um, all right, all right. Malcolm says he will take fire and cannibal for 1,000. Jerry. Faith Walker. Um, oh, laugh out loud. I think that means Malcolm, but it says MSLCOM. Cliff Bays. Ha ha ha. That's a good one. Mommy, meat eater. Okay. Kathy, she's good in Alberta, Canada. Big Bigfoot territory up there. I know. I've got a lot of people near the. I can't think of it, but it's famous with the Calmuth or. I got a friend who lives up there. A couple. Yes, the way is written in the story. It says people were where the sun rises, watch the catastrophe and the formation of the first man-like predator with a bite like fire and is a cannibal. Uh, Kathy, yes, if you could send me an email, I will send you a booklet, that healing booklet. Let me sorry, let me Kathy, that's my email. Send me your email or contact, and I'll send you that booklet out right away since we're done here. Um, that's a long way to go, Kathy. I'd love to be up that way, but I, I don't need proof. Uh, I know they're there. We got them here. Yours may be taller, but they're all the same everywhere. When we had some tests over the colors and scents and things like that. So Kathy, if you've seen them, because a lot of people know they're there, but a lot of people hadn't seen them. But if you've seen them, then you're a knower, and I don't question people who've seen them, because I know I've seen them myself, and a lot of people have seen them. So to us, it's common knowledge. It's those other groups that want to test you or question you, but you won't find that here, because to us it's pointless to be trying to question somebody because your eyes are the proof. I mean, your body's the proof. um And I've had people come up and ask me, I heard you seen some Bigfoots and things like that. And normally, like for me, I'm just normally just saying, yeah, and then, then that's whenever they kind of loosen up and tell me about their stories and things like that. But it seems like they always want to make sure that, I have seen them, and that it's not like I heard or someone had told me about it or I seen a picture. No, I've seen them myself. I've taken pictures. I got pictures of their shadows. I got video, thermals, tracks, prints, and I used to collect those just to prove it. But even that wasn't enough for people to fully um, not question it. But for me, I was like, if you don't believe me, that's fine. And I lost friendships over that because I'm not a liar. And so whenever, oh, she's not proof, but there's a pretty national park beside me. Yes, they love all the woods that they can get. And the cliff says, I bet the ones in Alberta are huge. Yeah, I've seen some big creatures out there. And I also want to show you a hieroglyph that you're going to see on the Aztec sunstone. But you or everyone here who's been taking a test and has been listening, you're going to understand this hieroglyph. And it's one of the first hieroglyphs, and it's a very important hieroglyph. But I do want to tell you just one more thing about this hieroglyph. That in the Aztec sunstone, in the very center, that's called the Aztec sun god. He's also, or it is also called the second sun, or a yellow sun god, because it does produce a light and it can look like the sun if you don't know what you're looking for. Um, Faith Walker says, people have been so mocked. Yes. Yes. Even I have, and I know some people who's like Malcolm, he can see differently than a lot of people, than normal people. And me and him pretty much have the same vision, and we can see different things, outlines, uh, transparency things. And so it's good to work with people like that because they have good eyes and they see different than normal people. Um, but yes, a lot of people have been mocked, and a lot of people have quietened down because they didn't want the ridicule. But I'm a truth talker and a truth walker, I guess you would say. I don't care if they don't believe me, but if you're going to talk to me, I'm going to tell you the truth. So if the truth, if you want to question that, that's okay. But go out in the woods, look for yourself, or go with me sometime, and we'll sneak up on some. Um, Mommy says there is a family of 5 to 7 of them, different heights. My uncle also sees them. I also don't understand why the forest goes so quiet, especially at night when they come. Because they're hunting, and nothing wants to, not even a cricket, because they eat crickets, they eat snakes, squirrels, raccoons, anything that's food, and even the viper snakes. They'll grab them, have a quick snack and a meal. Birds will do that. Um, Kathy says, "What you say rings true, some Jerry." Yes, if you haven't watched all of the segments, we went over quite a bit, and tomorrow we're going to go over more on things that we need to know when we're out in that field, things that and announcements. But we're getting close to our camp time date. I believe we have 6 more days for everybody to be ready. I've talked to a couple of people who are ready to go now, but I told them we got to wait for everybody else. Um, we also have another guy in Louisiana. He's been having car problems, but we gave him plenty of time now to take care of that. And so if he doesn't make it this time, we're going to go without him because we have set this back. Um, because he has been having car troubles, and I know he's a knower. They have Bigfoots there, and we've been conversing for a while, and I'd really like for him to be there at the camp because he can also be a good eye for everybody because once you know what to look for, and I just hope that he gets there. I mean, I haven't had any calls to where he's had any problems, so I think we're still a go with that. But we are a go regardless because we need to get this ceremony done. Um, Cliff Bay says, when an apex predator is present, all the other animals try to be quiet as to not to become prey. Yes, yes, and you'll see even if humans are walking around, the animals will go quiet. But when they're when they know that this certain predator is around, this certain predator will eat pine cones, pecans, walnuts. It'll pick up little bugs. It'll eat frogs. It will eat anything that's around, snakes, little crickets, anything. Um, Locusts, just like a cat will. So when it goes quiet, that means it's right there. So you just need to get your thermals out, get in a good position, have your back to something supportive, get your shotgun ready, uh, and start either moving out slowly. Do your 5 second walks, or if you're hunting it, then you're already there. So do your thing. Um, Mommy says, mommy, I'll put SMA. How about that? Because when I say mommy, that just sounds kind of, I don't know. To me, it's like so. SMA says, makes or makes sense. Never thought of that. Thank you. And SMA says, they are very curious, especially since I have grown up now. They're all around a lot again now that my kids are there too now. So be careful out there, SMA, especially if they're around now, because especially with your kids out, um, and they're not curious, as we've all been taught. They're not curious; they're observant. They are opportunists, and what we think as curiosity is them trying to get as close to us as possible, close to our children, close to our farm animals, our pets. So don't think of them as Harry and Hendersons. Think of them as a predator with a disguise, with a face. Um, Kathy says, "Teach me your ways." Kathy, if you can go back and watch a couple of segments on this channel. We've been given a lot of information, things to look for, the traps, where you'll find them, their smells, their colors, how they get DNA, who they look for, how you walk in the woods, how you listen to certain things. We've been putting a lot of this information out already because we have a camp coming up next week, and we want everybody to be on the same page, fully aware. So, but we will go over this at camp in case somebody didn't or wasn't able to watch these, because we do want everybody to be on the same page and safe, and so that we all work as a team, because we're not going to be talking out there. We're not be having fires or things like that. We will be doing that in other locations. We will have a good time. We're gonna have a great time. We're going there for a ceremony, but we will be in Bigfoot areas, and like Malcolm and myself was yesterday or day before. Um, we were out there also, but we knew what we was doing, and these Bigfoots avoided us. They didn't want to be around us because they knew we weren't hunters, we were not children, and we were in that woods looking for something. And it knew that it wasn't deer, and it wasn't hogs, and it wasn't squirrels. We was looking for something else. So it avoided us. Um, it moved. It stayed away from us. Stayed out of our area because it does know a difference between a hunter, somebody playing in the woods, somebody lost, somebody hiking, and if a warrior is in the woods. They do know that. Cat Cliff Bay says, Kathy, Jerry is a true Bigfoot info you desire, or is the true Bigfoot info you desire. I stopped listening to all. other Bigfoot channels or only view them as entertainment now. Yeah, I do too. But I kind of do, but then I kind of get, um, I sometimes you just want to shake the TV and say, "Don't do that." You're endangering these people, and you know that some of these people have no clue what's going on just by the questions and or how much noise they're making, because they're asking questions. What we do here, or they're like we were talking about. They get on the walkie talkies and they're talking. If you talk in the woods, especially at nighttime, especially if it's quiet, you could be heard 100 yards. If you smoke a cigarette, that's 200 yards. You can see that little light 200 yards away, and they'll teach you that in sniper school and military. Don't be smoking out there, and don't be the blue faced warrior. Don't have your phone up to your face. Don't be out in the woods doing Facebook. Don't let your kids be doing Facebook because they've got a light, and that what you think is not bright to an animal who picks up infrared, that is a beacon. So if you're taking kids out there and they're jumping on their games and their iPods, you're endangering yourself. Um, if you're going to do something like that, go to a public where there's a lot of people. Then you can all act the same, and you'll be safer there. But don't do that in the woods. Don't do that in the mountains. Don't do that when you're camping or hiking. You have to not be a disturbance. You got to make sure the animals don't even know you're there. Don't set off the birds. Get in there, do what you're going to do. Have a great time. Go swimming, kayaking, whatever. Don't make the birds nervous. Don't make the animals nervous. If they're comfortable around you, they'll protect you. They'll also warn you, like that silence, or they'll chirp if something's close. So have respect for nature, and nature will protect you out there. Um, and thank you, Cliff, for that comment. Um, see where we're at. Okay. Um, Rock Hound, Rock Hounded out. Uh, can I just call you Rock? Like, I'll try to do all the short, short or Hound or Rock. Rock sounds more rock. He says, I've heard them digging in the forest on the river. Yes, and usually if you see a tree that they use as a bridge, have you ever heard that story? The troll is underneath that bridge. Look underneath those trees. You'll see something dug out. They love being underneath that tree because it gives them a good place to stay dry. They can dig inward. It gives them lots of cover. But you'll see, and I wanted to check this one spot out, but I knew I couldn't get to it. But and there was two spots like that I couldn't get to without crossing in somebody else's place. But look under those logs that they lay, if they're big logs. Look underneath them because you're going to see against the bank that there's a hole dug out, and if they don't stay there, then they use that as a trap for when something starts walking across that. They just jump up and grab them a raccoon or whatever's trying to cross. Um, Rock says they dig wallows and for insects. Bigfoots eat all the time. They eat mice. They carry mice. They have spiders. Actually, spiders will be crawling on Bigfoots. I've seen that in the translucent ones. You can, when they turn translucent, if they got spiders on them, you'll still see the spiders. And I have seen that. Cliff Bay says Jerry has the correct info to keep you safe from them and know the truth about them. Others may give you unsafe, incorrect advice and slash info. Yes, I would say 90% of those other Bigfoot people, they endanger people. And and if you've ever seen a Bigfoot and you know that these guys are out there wood knocking, laughing, joking, cutting up, um, get away from them. Because they're endangering you. They're calling in. They're not calling in one Bigfoot, one nice Bigfoot. When you make a call, if you make noise anywhere in the forest, like we was talking about with the pack of wolves, one little noise, and every one of those wolves will turn towards you. They'll take about a second, and then that whole pack will come towards you. That's the same thing with a Bigfoot. You make those noise out there, their ears are perking up. They know that's not them. They know where everybody's at. But they know now there's food over here making noise. So be careful with people like that. But like we were talking about, I wouldn't go out with none of those guys as far as Bigfoot hunters or things like that. I wouldn't go out with them unless they learned and watched these other segments because I want everybody to be safe out there. I want everybody to know what I know or that we share the same information, the same knowledge. And when you do that, like when Malcolm went out just the other day, he knew what he was doing. So I didn't have to stop and try to, hold his hand or anything. He knew what we was doing. He knew we was using the spider webs to maneuver. And next time, try that next time you're out. Look for those spider webs. They'll be right in the sun, right where you'd miss them. But look for those spider webs. And when you see one, find that other trail because there's going to be another trail. And you're going to find that there's a whole trail that goes all the way through there that doesn't have spider webs. But everywhere else, every exit will have spider webs. But there'll be trails out there with no spider webs whatsoever. And that's the safe way to do it because you're not setting any alarms off. You're not breaking any traps for them to come and find later. And so you're the safest that you could be out there if you are in Bigfoot territory. SMA, laugh out loud, no problem. It was kind of weird saying mommy, all that. So I just said SMA. Um, and some reason, this SMA is kind of. And Malcolm says, Cliff, leave it to the humans to be whooping and knocking when all the other animals know better. That is so true, Malcolm, because you don't see other animals, especially if Bigfoot are in the territory, you don't see them making noise. You don't. They're trying to get through there. They're trying to get from point A to point B without being eaten, and they're not making noise. And yet you got these Bigfoot guys going out there, loud trucks, music, talking, smoking cigarettes, thinking that they're on break before they go back out, but they're being watched, they're being observed. And then they go out and start hooping and hollering and using calls and wood knocks and you're doing that at nighttime and these they're all around you already. By the time you decide to go out in the woods, they're already got you circled. They know if they're going to eat or if you're just there to do your wood knocking and go home. But if you start heading off towards their den or where these offspring are, expect problems. So don't be doing things like that. Be safe out there. Whatever you've seen on TV so far, don't do anything that these guys are doing. I've seen guys pull up, get out of their trucks, take off walking to wherever they're gonna go and check out, but they got their cameras and they're doing like selfies, but they're talking while they're walking, so they're not paying attention to that brush or that grass or that stone or that shadow or that brush that just moved. That translucency, they could be right there. And that's why I talked about with the translucency of shadows and using the wind. Because if you're seeing wind move trees, but there's something standing there that's not moving, or it's moving when the wind is not moving. Those are things that we look for. I mean, we look for everything. Faith Walker says they are driven by hunger. Yes, they have fear. The fear is to not eat. It's starvation. They have fear. That's why they eat all the time. The other things they fear is that they're going to be found out. Those are the two things. They don't want to miss their meal, and they don't want to be found out. That's the only two fears that they have. So remember that they do not, and that's why they practice so much. And I wish people would practice that much because you're going into a deadly territory that's already mapped out. It's got predators all around you, and if you're going out there and all you know is a football game, you're going to be out in the woods trying to get the football game on your little TV or iPhone or Facebook or something. But when you're out there, you got to be observant. You got to be quiet. You got to listen. And that was kind of funny yesterday or the day before when I was out there and I thought I'd turn my phone off. My phone's going off. And I was looking at Michael like, turn your phone off. And he's like, that's not my phone. And I was like, oh no. And plus I hit two spider webs. Oh, it was one of those times I'm like, I can't believe I just hit that spider web. And but it was still okay because we did back out and follow the path, so we stayed on track. Um, Faith Walker says, Malcolm, you're right. Yes. Um, Cliff says, Malcolm, yeah, laugh out loud. You never go on a hike and see a deer beating the stick onto a log. No, everyone stays quiet. Nobody wants to be that sandwich. So I mean, and you'll see if you watch the animals, watch how they move too. If they're very cautious, if they're alert, if they're going down and coming back up, they know something in the area, but they're still eating and they're trying to before they take off running. Um, Kathy says she's going to be watching all that she can. Yes, if you can go back and catch a couple episodes, um, then you'll be right where we are. You'll understand some of these conversations, like the test just a few minutes ago. A lot of people who hasn't listened to those other segments, when we're talking about the moon, the Earth is inside the moon, the rabbit hole, the great serpent, the great flood. When we talk about things like that, if you hadn't been with us for a couple of segments, then you're going to probably think that we're crazy. But when you look at hieroglyphs, which I'm going to show you one in just a second, but when you see these hieroglyphs, it's all going to make sense. That this story makes perfect sense, and this story is everywhere. Um, Rock Rock says, "Do not approach these bad boys for sure." Jerry is correct. Yes, we don't go out there looking for confrontations. We go out there to do what we got to do. We are well protected with our weapons if something does happen, but we're not looking for that um, confrontation. But make sure you have weapons if you go out there. I mean, if it's somewhere secure and safe, you don't need them. But if you're going out in places that you don't know, like the place we went out yesterday, I didn't know that area, but I had um, word that there were Bigfoots out in that area, but I'd never tracked in that area. I have seen prints out there, but I never tracked out there. And when Malcolm come in, that was the time that we had to go track, and we did find them out there. And but they avoided us because they knew that we weren't, hunters. We weren't fishermen. Um, Universe says, just want hug. Sasquatches just want hugs and kisses. Okay, she's laughing my LMAO. um, Wow, I must have missed a couple. Yeah. SMA says they gave me the willies, and I am constantly pushing them back and staying close to my home. My family has had a lot of different experiences over the 200 years. Loving learning from you. Oh, loving learning from you. Yeah, we're gonna share everything we can to keep you safe out there and your family. Uh, and your children need to know not to venture out. If they see anything suspicious, have them come and see you first. Don't make sure they don't go anywhere without your knowing, because these predators, they do watch interactions. They will call the kids out. They will hold fruit up. Things like that. They know by watching people, um, how to coax a child out, or even how to coax livestock and animals. Um, Rock says, people always wonder why can the game cam not get anything, or why the electronics malfunction. Yes, they do have their own uh, vibrations and frequencies. Malcolm says, "Blue faced warrior." Bah ha ha ha! Too funny. Yeah, that's what we call it. We call them blue faced warriors whenever you're on the alerts and guard duty or something. Then there'll always be one or somebody will, where they're in setting working security in a car. They'll put it up, and then whenever we see that, we're like, well, there's somebody right over there, so there's got to be more. And don't give your position away. Like whenever I'm also traveling at night, if I'm going in some area, I'll get duct tape, and I'll put duct tape on the back of the brake lights, on the front headlights. If they that kind that stays on, I put cardboard over that. I always completely wipe out my dash from lights, the radios, anything that has light, and then I'll put my night vision on or use that to travel in those certain areas. Universes, rock. They have night vision. They can see most trail cams because of the infrared. Yeah, yeah, and you can use that. You don't have to use your trail cams to catch them on video, but you can use your trail cams to deter them from your camp. Set one up this way, set one up that way, one this way, so that any angle that they try to come in, it'll set off a camera. They're thinking that they're trying to avoid and that you're trying to capture. No, no, no. You just don't want them coming to your camp and knocking on your tent door. You can also set traps up that way, like we were talking about the other day, that wherever that trail cam light is, it's only got a certain radius. So outside that radius, soften that dirt up. You know, put the leaves a certain way. Put twigs out there. And that, because they're going to tight line wherever that infrared is, or that night vision light is. They can see that, so they're going to tight line. They're going to go as close as they can to you. So don't really use it. Try to capture images of them. Use it more to deter them, because they will avoid that light. And if you're at a camp, set them up in different positions, every angle that you can think of to where they would come in on you, and you'll have a peaceful night because they're going to avoid that light. And if that's all that if they're going to be seen, they're not going to come in. That's one of the fears. And I remember you asking about that. Two fears. The fear is that they're going to not get their food, starvation, and the other fear is being found out. Those are their two fears. So I think that was Cliff. Um, Cliff said pretty much the same thing. He says the Bigfoot can either see or sense the infrared tech coming off the game can, so they're useless for getting evidence, but they're useful in deterring them from your home and property. That is correct. You can deter them with that. I mean, you don't have to get out there and prove it because you know they're there, but let's deter them from you and from your family. Let's let them. And we don't want to push these off on somebody else, but we don't want them around our family. And if the neighbors don't want to listen, they don't want to take this serious, protect yourself. Um, Rock says that too. I was just talking with my mom about the eyes. They have to have specialized night vision, which is well known, but the durability and crystalline structure must be radically different. And that's where you get different colors. And we did talk about the colors of the eyes, the colors of the orbs, and which ones are the most vicious, which ones are more. But like we said, if they get the opportunity to take somebody to eat, especially if there's food and there's no food and they're hungry, uh, it doesn't matter what color their eyes are, what color the orbs are. Stay away from them. Take them out if you have to, but protect your family. Um, Universal sound recorders work best. Yes, if and we got videos, sound and things like that of when they were just right outside our house and things like that. Um, Kathy says going huckleberry picking tomorrow. Kathy, I don't know if you were here with us when we said what are the three main ambush places. Does anybody remember those three main ambush places? That is water. That's rivers, lakes, streams, ponds. Um, the second one, berry bushes or fruit trees. Be very careful out there huckleberrying. They think those huckleberries are their berries. And if you're out there, that's a delicacy with their berries. And the third place is shelter. That's your home, your car, your camp, uh, your campsite. They know you're going to return there. So, Kathy, please be very observant around those huckleberries when you're picking tomorrow. Do a scout before you get out there and do your huckleberry picking. Make sure you know what's around you before you let your guard down. And please, like I tell people at least take a knife with you that can penetrate something that's really big if you have to. I hope you never have to use something like that, but if something does arise, at least you have something. And but be careful when you're huckleberry picking tomorrow. Okay, it's okay. Rock, yes. All right, great. Universe says, yummy, Kathy. Enjoy your home hike. Enjoy your hike. SMA says, makes sense. They also seem to be able to see the laser lights too. Yeah, yeah. Kathy says, nervous now after hearing Jerry. Just be observant. If you're observant and you scout your area, you know nothing's out there, enjoy your day. But like me, if I'm out someplace like that, I don't think I ever go alone. If I'm going to go out like that, because I want somebody watching my back, I want to watch their back. We're going to do our scout. We're going to observe before before you go huckleberry picking. Get along that edge line. Sit there for an hour and a half. Those berries will still be there. Sit there for an hour and a half and just look. Just scan your whole area. Look around. Listen before you venture out there. And if you watch a deer will do the same thing. They'll watch everything. And then when it's been, a good time, when it's close and they haven't seen anything, then they'll come out and eat that grass. But they're always ready to get out of there too. Joe says, spiders crawl in them. Yuck. Yeah, I've seen them on the translucent ones. I've seen spiders just crawling on them. And at first I thought it was a big spider web, but then I really got to look at it. I said, no, that's a Bigfoot, a translucent Bigfoot. And I got a picture of it. But it did have spiders also crawling on it. Joe says, Rockhound. David Pilates and Steve Asdal could learn a lot from Jerry. That would be great if we could all get a conversation going, because whenever they read those, which I used to watch those, but I don't anymore, but and it was mostly because a lot of people ridiculed what I said, but I was talking about how they mimic, how they use the sound of a bird, a cricket, and people thought I was crazy for for a while, but now they're realizing that everything that we've been telling them was to help them, and that everything's true, and they see it for themselves now, or they've heard other people tell it. But it would be good to talk with them just so that when they read one of the stories and people always have questions or something, they can give them the answer instead of giving them an opinion or a suggestion, or we need to get. And I know that they always say that on I think Steve's where he talks about the round table of knowledge, and that they need to get people together and so they can talk about this, and that everyone should have the same information. That's what we're doing here. We're giving people ancient knowledge from the beginning of time. Now we're getting up into where time began. We're telling you all about the DNA of the Bigfoot, where they come from, that the first ones were hatched, not born, and the only way they were born is that the ingestion of more females and the mixture of that DNA to where they could finally have like a birth and not a hatching. SMA, feeling better because I know how to stay safe and keep my kids safe. Yes, and that's what we do this for, so that you have all that information and you can share that with your families. You know what to look for, uh, and that keeps you safe. You know when they're in the area, what their smells are. If you see lights, hear sounds, and things like that, get your kids in, get them safe. And like me, I always have my weapon, close. Like if I'm gonna go outside the door, I'll put it right there. I might not take it outside, but I know I'm in close proximity. And they are very fast. So if you're out in the woods or the mountain or the mountainous terrain, don't leave your weapon more than 5 yards away from you, because it can happen that quick. Like everybody at the camp, whatever weapon you got, you keep it on you. While you're there, if you're sitting down, that weapon's going to be beside you. I don't want you to have it in your vehicle if you need it out there. We keep it as close as possible. Um, Rock says, I would guess when they build structures, they can use it to collect vibration and feel anything approaching. Yes, they have sensors and traps around their areas. We talked about that a couple episodes or a couple structures back. How they have their own sensors, and we do have pictures of those sensors and things. It could be a shaking of a tree, could breaking of a twig, uh, a pile of leaves that they might have put out there, old sticks or old logs that can break easy. They have sensors like that, and they use those traps like that. The next one is by Universe. She says it's more of sign language. Rock. They don't need to collect energy. uh, well, they feed off of energy. Especially children have more energy than the adults. Uh, like I have more energy than a lot of people because I don't expend my or deploy my energy. And we talked about that, how you expend it or deploy. It's like when you watch TV, listen to TV, watch radio. I mean, listen to the radios, watch TV, read newspapers, argue with people, get on Facebook. That's all expending your energy because yeah, have you ever watched a whole bunch of people watching a football game at a club or something? That's expending energy. You'll see them yelling, screaming, and but if you take that TV away and watch people without a TV, you would tell that they're doing something with their energy, but it's not keeping it. They're expending it, expanding it, or expending. Um, Joe wants to know about the. She says, "Do you think the use of the electric magnetic field and with the North Pole shifting 30 miles per year, does that affect them?" Uh, if you go back a couple of episodes, Joe, uh, it's not a pole shift; it's an Earth movement. Um, the Earth is alive. It's but the scientific world will give you the word pole shift. But the traditional people, the ancient people, will tell you it's a living being that moved or has been moved. and but the Earth is hanging in there. The Moon is hanging in there. Uh, they have hope, and that hope is for us to wake up, so that when someone goes back, we have all the knowledge to rid ourselves or rid this world of all predators. So that the moon, the sun, the cosmic animals, the earth, all have hope for us. And that's what we're doing. We're sharing with everybody so everyone has this knowledge and it becomes common knowledge. Um, Cliff Bay says, SMA, please check out Scott Carpenter's channel. He has info for deterring these things from your property to keep your area and you and your family safe. Yes, if somebody's got information like that, go check them out. Um, there are a lot of techniques. I use certain ones that I've known to work myself, but there are other ways. Um, and even we talked about growing peppermint around your place because they don't like peppermint. Spiders don't like peppermint. Um, and that's why we gave you that story, that test, because we wanted to take you before time began to where time began, and then we move forward from there. And if you'll look, when we got to the end of when time began, if you look in history, that's when the first anthropod, and then you're going to get dinosaurs, and then you're going to get giants, and then you're so it all happened in a certain way, and it just flows forward. Um, Jeffrey, I must have missed that one. Somebody says, or Universe says, what do you know about Sasquatch, Ontario? Um, then she says, think. Um, oh, SMA, spinal muscular atrophy is it is what my youngest daughter has terminally ill with neuromuscular genetic order. Uh, um, did you get one of my healing booklets, SMA? Um, that healing book will help correct a lot of those deficiencies that she has. It's never failed because we give everything that the body needs that it's missing. And a lot of times, or most 99% of times, with um, problems like that, it's because of the deficiencies and the acidic levels are dropped way too low that the body is stripping itself. So we did do a ancient healing segment about 2 nights ago, maybe three. I do have that booklet that I can send you. I just need an email address, and it's never failed, and it works. So it will reverse. It says terminally ill, but when you give the body exactly what it needs, it's going to fight. It's your body's not designed to falter. We have to give it exactly what it needs, and when it does, it works for us. It fights for us. It becomes that warrior for us. Oh, here's that one with Cliff about the two fears again, which was starvation and the fear of being found out. Because if they're getting found out, that means that their food is going to be scarce because people are going to start looking for them and getting them out of their areas. Um, Universe says someone has been in communication with the group for years with verbal contact. You don't want to converse or be connected to a predator, especially a man-eating predator. Uh, your thoughts are not yours. You're giving away a lot of information. Um, don't. Uh, well, I can say don't do it, but people are going to do it. And that is totally up to them. Uh, I can't stop everybody from conversing with a predator, a man-eating predator who loves to eat people, meat, flesh, blood. That's totally up to whoever. Me personally, I do not want to contact. I do not want to have a connection with a man-eating predator around my family. But other people do that stuff. That's totally up to them. Um, just wait till the food runs out, and they're going to come knocking again. Um, yes, all medicines are plant. They come from the plant first. Um, Sorry if I missed a couple here. Uh, I'm going to get a shoulder mount for my plasma cannon, like the Predators. Laugh out loud. I wish, but would get a bigger, better gun. That's also one thing that we haven't talked about yet. Rock was I've always been wanting to get a pulse weapon. Pulse weapons will knock these guys down like crazy. They are energy. A cattle prod, a very strong cattle prod. I would take a cattle prod with me in the mountains every time because it does give them that electric shock and it does give you time to do what you need to do and it will back them up. Just like a spider. If you shock a spider, it'll jump back to the furthest corner and then decide on what it's going to do. Rock says, I agree, Jerry, about the energy. I got spooked at Minnesota at my cousin's house and it was so bad the landline phone line was flipping out with weird poltergeist sounds, so the company sent two huge white guys with two vans. Oh, so they kind of knew something was going on. Cliff says, Rockhound, what? That sounds wild, dude. I would have been blanking in his pants. And he says, something was pounding on the house, and he lived out in a rural area. He had a lot of snow, and there was no tracks at all, but get this, when we got there, he told us he found tracks that approach that approached. Yeah, you're gonna find them. They're there. Just know what to look for. Also use the think about weight distribution. Um, Also, especially if they're in snow or ice, that snow and ice moves with heat, so you can tell how long something's been there just by the ice or the water flow and the snow. Um, Rock says you can't do much except live it out. Yeah, I understand what you mean on that one. Um, Rock says that's why I also agree the Bigfoot is psychic. Um, and we teach how to protect your mind also, and we went over that also on a couple episodes back. If you want to recap on that, it's back in one of the segments. And I think they um, delete them after 10 days. From what I understand, I'm not sure. But also, my other friend was supposed to take care of this live stream, but he hadn't called today. So if we're not back on tomorrow, whenever we can get the funds up to pay for the live stream, because no, today is our last day as far as the free stream. And if he does take care of that tomorrow, we'll be back on at the same time. But if not, as soon as we can get everything taken care of, that we will be back online. Cliff was going to help out also with that because I think it's only like $12 or no more than 20. Except I just don't have that right now. And I always think it's funny too because a lot of people kind of ridicule me sometimes. They'll say, "Well, if you know all this stuff and you're supposed to know how to read hieroglyphs and you're supposed to know this, how come you don't have money? How come you're not rich?" You know, and but all that stuff comes for at a price too, and you don't want to be working with certain people who's wanting to silence all that information from getting out. So this is actually the safest way for me to get you the information is to not become a part of a big company or a corporation. I don't mind getting support to get things that we need to get out and do things to get better recordings and things like that. But um, I could never uh, work for like Fox News or something that's already under control, and that I wouldn't be able to be telling all these things to you. Uh, let me see. Sasquatch Ontario has been constant around a decade now for some crazy recordings. Yes, you've got a lot up there. Um, oh, Cliff. All right. Thanks, Cliff. If I don't hear from them by tomorrow, let's say about noon, I'll email you my information. And uh, I'm not even sure how to really take care of this with the what's it called, StreamYard that we're using. But if so, that would be great too. Then we wouldn't have to worrying about trying to stay on. Universe says that it is skilled based, though not all can do it quickly. And if you do go back a couple episodes, we have been given techniques on how to control those certain things, um, how to block these images or frequencies that these Bigfoots try to mind speak with people or make that connection. We teach how to sever or block that connection. So many people don't know about that or how to do that, so they're vulnerable. They do converse with the predators, they do get information from them. We don't recommend that you converse with a predator. There's always a cost for anything like that. Um, yes, staying in the moment is almost the whole technique, but you have to silence the mind also while you're in the moment. And then you have to train your body to move without a command. Because if you just shut your mind down, don't talk to yourself, your body doesn't have instructions and it's never done that before. So you have to train your body to move like we talked about there or not. SMA says, I'm sure we could all pitch in a few dollars. This knowledge is worth way more than anything I can think of. Uh, yeah, well, right now I just need to make sure that we have the stream continued, and that's what we was talking about. That he was, and I think it's only like $12 or $17. I don't think it's too much, but he was trying to find somebody to take care of that so that we could continue this, because there is a lot more information that we need to get everybody, and we still haven't got to the maps. We still haven't got to some of the hieroglyphs. But that story alone, I want to also show this picture, one of the hieroglyphs that's on the Aztec sunstone, except it's on the outside. It's not on the face. It's on the outside that most people don't see, don't know it's even there. But I'm going to show you a hieroglyph. I'm going to turn this camera around. I want to show you this hieroglyph. Before we ever met, before we ever had any conversations, I could show this hieroglyph and people would say, oh, that's pretty cute, pretty good detail and everything. Only the people here would know what this means. Now I'm going to show this to you, and I know you're going to already know how to read a hieroglyph. And here we go. I hope everybody can see this. Now, with this hieroglyph alone, if I can get this up here, it is the first hieroglyph on the outside wheel of the Aztec sunstone. It's the first hieroglyph. That's your first hieroglyph. And like we said, the serpent, man, animal, bird. That's the first one. Then we get the next one. Next hieroglyph, you get to the fish. You get all the other animals. Now I hope everyone got to see that. If everybody did, let me know, because if you've seen that hieroglyph just now, this is sideways here. But if you've seen that hieroglyph just now, you know how to read hieroglyphs. And that's on the Aztec sunstone. And everyone who knows that story knows what that hieroglyph means. And it even showed you what eye was pierced. Who pierced it? That was the second sun god, or known as the Aztec sunstone god, or the sun god. SMA, thank you so much. But I'm sure that we're going to have it taken care of. This, to me, this is important also, and we still got a long way to go, but I do like sharing all this, and this is the only place I could share this. Before, I was cut off. I wasn't acknowledged. All the information I was trying to give all these other Bigfoot groups, I was put on Bigfoot timeout. I was kicked off their shows. They just wouldn't let me get. But then again, giving someone a one-word answer doesn't work, because it just leads to more questions. And that's why we started this, because I was saying I need to take everybody back. For everyone to understand what I'm talking about, they have to know what these stones mean, because that's the story to go forward. You have to know the beginning. But if you only know what we get taught in schools, or even back to the pyramids, is a long way. Back to the beginning of the Bible is a long way. But you got to keep going back. And I always tell people, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And so now we had the opportunity to share all this information with a couple of you. And I hope that the rest go back and listen to the part 1, part 2, and part 3 of that story, so that when you've seen that hieroglyph, you know exactly what it means. And we'll get into more of that hieroglyph so that you'll be able to read the whole thing. But I'll go over it whenever we get a little bit further, after we do some astrology, so that you know astrology too, because it all coincides together. We're going to get into the Fibonacci sequence, and that's a sequence of creation, and we'll get into that. That's also why my stickball number is 55, and you'll understand that also, because it's 5 elements of life for this side, 5 elements from this side. This is my male side. This is my female side. This eye is a certain reason. This eye is a certain reason. And they work together. But you're going to, like, you've already started reading hieroglyphs. You already know what the first hieroglyph is. And if I was to show you another one, if you just listen and remember that story, you remember the sequence. If right now, if you Google the Egyptian Dendra Zodiac and think about the last part of that story, you'll see that story on the Egyptian Dendra Zodiac. Right now, you can read half of that Egyptian Dendra Zodiac. If you look it up, if you Google Egyptian Dendra Zodiac, start with the piercing, you're going to see it. Go to the serpent. It's the next one. Go to the ram. Go to the bird. Go to the fish. And you're going to see, you're going to be reading hieroglyphs. And that's the whole purpose of this. We're giving you so much knowledge and so much information, nothing can get past you. You'll be walking into places they'll certain places will have certain symbols on certain days, and you're going to know that your people are using energy against you, or that they're trying to get or feed off of your energy by getting you there on certain places, or even the presidents. They speak on certain days and at certain times, and that's when the energy flows or it's coming in, because we are susceptible to that. And if we're listening at that certain time, we're getting exactly what they say and we're accepting it. So energy is used on people every day. Frequencies are used on people every day, and everything is a language, colors, body language, Coptic language. And we'll get into Coptic language too. We'll, everybody will be understanding that also. Is It's all for that purpose though, that plan. It's not random. Rock says, look a lot like the old structures as well, to create anomalies. I think I missed that conversation. um, SMA, your knowledge is priceless, timeless, and amazing. I cannot wait to keep learning. I love any information you can send me. My email is. Let me write that down. But we have been given a lot of information on just these streams, and they're on the segments. But I'll also send you that healing booklet that we were given to everybody. Uh, and if you watch, I think 2 segments back, we did a presentation over the healing booklet and how to use it. And we used Cliff's birthday on that last one. And but you'll hear everything because we explain it. And but if you have that booklet, you can go over it and look at the charts, and it's pretty easy. I made it as simple as possible. But then again, if you need any help, I'm always here. Well, I should still be here tomorrow. And I don't I don't know how ACH ACHEK Gmail. Mm. SMA says, I'm going to be catching up as my homework. I've watched a few so far. Yes. Let me see if I. Let's see. But we are hopefully, if my friend works everything out tomorrow, which I thought he was going to call today before 5, which he didn't. But if he doesn't get everything worked out, which I don't really see a problem there, but just give me one quick second. I need to look at. Um, just one more second here. uh, Universe says, you know too much, Rock. It's time for a lobotomy. Men in Black flashes. Hi, my name is Rock. Yeah, I'm new here. I can see that. Oh, good. I'm gonna actually, because I don't know how everything's gonna turn out tomorrow, but I really want to keep going with this because we do have a lot to go over. Um, like I was saying, some of the things that we're gonna talk about are not talked about. Teaching how to read the hieroglyphs, the old stories, all the things that we need to know about the Bigfoot, how to protect ourselves. So I'm gonna put a PayPal thing up here, and Cliff, if I have problems, I think that's probably the best way or the quickest way, because I'm not sure if someone else can pay for the live stream, or if I have to do it, which I only have like $2 on my account thing. And but if my other friend doesn't get in contact with me by 5 o'clock and lets me know that everything's taken care of and that I'll still be live streaming tomorrow. But if he doesn't, I'll give you I'll send you. I I do have your email. Because I sent you a pamphlet. I mean a booklet for the healing. So I still have your email. So I'll email you. I would say by 5 o'clock. I mean I'll give him till 5 to see where we're at. Um, uh, Cliff says that he screenshotted the PayPal address. I can either PayPal or you or the money or give you my credit card number. Um, SMA says it won't let me click the PayPal link to donate. Huh. Let me make sure because I hate to not get anything done because we didn't. Let me see if this will work. Hmm. Ah. I'm glad we got a little time, and I'm glad we have patient people tonight because if I don't get this worked out, I won't be on tomorrow. And I really want to be on for a long time to help a lot of people and give more information. Um, but yeah, it's it's that open time. Uh, Surprised that this hasn't just popped up right. Cliff says he'll be on road tomorrow. Email him. Um, Universe says email the link. Um, That's the only thing I know is the one that I put down there. If it doesn't let you, it don't. Was it? But also, I'd have to use my other phone because it's not really connected to the computer here. But if I got your email, Cliff, I can send you a PayPal thing through the PayPal, but I have to get on my phone. That's the only place I really have it. And let's see. Universe, maybe or SMA. Here is my. This is my email that I just posted. Um, because I have it on my other phone. I don't have it on this computer. I think that's where I'm getting problems. But if y'all could send a email to my email, I can link it to the PayPal and I can send a request out. I don't or I can send you the link. If I got your email address, I can send you a link. I don't know why it's not connecting here. And I just hit another button that I don't know what button I just hit. But I lost all that. Oh, there it is. Mm, Let me try my Gmail. And if it goes through Gmail, mm, search. Glad everybody's bearing with me for right now. Um, not trying to sign anything up. Okay, I'm on the PayPal page. See if I can find a link. I can't, but I can't. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work, but this is what I. No, it's giving me the same thing. I don't know why it's not letting it. Hey, it popped up. I don't even know what buttons I'm pushing. But that's the address. Um and tomorrow, I think today is the last day that I could use this broadcast, and we've had 7 days with this broadcast, and we've covered a lot. We've shared a lot. We actually went on what people may call an expedition, but we just went tracking. We're just to get to know each other, really, me and Malcolm, and everyone from the group who's going to go camping. We're going to get real close because we're going to learn, and we're going to move the same. We're going to walk the same. We're going to talk the same. We're going to know our hand signals because when we get out into the forest, we don't talk. And if we don't have our signals down, if we whisper, we're going to be whispering like right into your ear. We're not going to be making any noise out there. And SMA says all good. It will work with email addresses. I will send after the live stream. Thank you, SMA. So Cliff says I think if you go log into your PayPal account, then send a request for money to my email address, then I can pay direct through that email. Yes, and SMA. Yes, thank y'all. Um, I don't know how much the stream is. I'll find out and then I'll send that amount. But I think I have to send like $1 extra because they take out a percentage, and I want to make sure I have enough to cover the stream. I don't know how much the StreamYard is. I don't think it's too expensive. I think it's like 17, 12 or $17. And I hope that's all it is because with a paid subscription to it, there's a lot more buttons that I get to use, and I can add videos. I can add more pictures to it. I can have um, guests, and we can all. I think up to 10 guests, so there'll be a certain chance, especially on test days and things like that, or if we could actually get some other Bigfoot experts to come on, we could have the group here who's been studying and going over everything. We could have the group ask certain questions that if they are Bigfoot experts, then they should know these answers because y'all know these answers. And then you'll see that you'll have that the knowledge that you have that you got from this channel, it'll far surpass any that you've even got from the colleges. Um, you'll be more intelligent than any of the college people that because colleges they teach you certain things to be a certain person for a certain job. It's not a broad span of knowledge and information. But that's what we're going to do here. We're going to teach you how to read all these charts. And even if they look complicated right now, just like that hieroglyph, you might have seen it like, oh, okay, But now that when you look at that hieroglyph, you're like, oh, that's the man child. That's the earth. It's being uh, pierced in the left eye. I mean, you can see all that. That's the second sun god or the predator or the deceiver, and he's the one that's piercing the man child or the baby being earth in the left eye. And so just even looking at that hieroglyph, you've already started reading hieroglyphs that nobody else knows. If you look at the Egyptian Dendra Zodiac, you can read that, and then it just follows it. It's just and then also when you're reading this map, you also have to understand that right here, this is the sun cycle, but this is also the northern cycle and the inside, not up. but in that's the north. Here's the north, and once you if you ever get a map like this, you can get them on Amazon for maybe $30. But I do recommend that you get one of these and maybe get you an Egyptian Dendra Zodiac, and like I have the Aztec Sunstones. I'm not sure if you can order those, but if you get these, um, we're gonna go over this. We're gonna go over the dates, the times, the constellations, the open doors, the solstices. Um, this is the inside, or this is the top of the crown. This outside right here is like your feet. You know, you have to imagine yourself laying inside of it. Let's see. Imagine yourself laying inside of it. And this all right here is on the outside, like your south side or your feet. But with that story, you know that we're upside down and we're backwards. So um, we have to reverse everything, even our thinking. You know, we're being taught to be the bad people or the bad dream. We're taught to lie, cheat, steal, hurt people, cut deals behind people's back. You know, things like that. We're taught that. So we have to go against everything that we're taught. You know, because we're not supposed to be that way. We're not supposed to be trying to hurt somebody else. We're not supposed to be trying to take advantage of somebody else. We're in a spiritual world. We're in a dream world. So truth is our language. And truth is the language in the spiritual world. So the only way to get that connection is to be a truth walker. And when you do that, you're going to see everything is put out in front of you. You just have to acknowledge it. And just like here with Cliff and SMA and Universe, you know, like for me, I don't worry about it. Something's going to happen, but it's just like right here. If this other guy couldn't do it, then there's another person in my path. There's another person in my path. There's another person in my path, and all we do is acknowledge each other. You know, whatever help I might need. And like I said, I only need like 10% most of the time because I'm always giving information, teaching how to heal, tracking for people, and things like that. That I know that more people need uh, everything that I've been gifted in my life. And like me, I'm not a monetary person. That's why I don't have hardly anything. And even this place where I'm living now, it's the affordable, low rent kind of thing. I mean, the Choctaw Nation did put up pretty nice houses, but it's if people have low income, and it's all has to do with the COVID and everything. But also, I couldn't get a job, um, which is funny because the tribe I applied for the cultural educator job, which I know more than the whole tribe and all the medicine people. I still teach the medicine people because they don't know everything. I teach ceremony people. I teach the ceremonies. I teach how we do ceremonies, when we do ceremonies, what what um, what energy's coming in. So, but the tribe said that I was overqualified, and they said that the Choctaw people are not ready for my knowledge. So there were six positions open, and I didn't qualify for one of them. But everybody who did qualify, everybody who did get the job, they still come ask me for information. They watch my channel. They watch my Facebook, so that when I'm posting about ceremonies, next thing you know, tribe's going to have a ceremony. Next thing you know, the tribe is doing this. But I don't mind that they do that. But my only problem is, but sometimes they tell me, get a job, things like that, which a lot of people don't know either. That I've turned down probably $42 million already, just because I wouldn't sell out, I wouldn't back down, I wouldn't keep my mouth shut. And these were pipeline oil companies and things like that, because I do defend the land, I do protect the water. And I was offered, I think it was maybe I want to say 10 years ago, I guess I was offered that. And But I've turned down multitudes of money before just because I wouldn't sell out. And like that one, it was like for $3 million a year annually, and that was like 15 years ago. So I wouldn't sell out then either. And so it kind of gets to me sometimes when all these younger ones they'll say, if you just get a job and be like everybody else, I'm going, I've turned down more money than you'll make in 10 lifetimes. And you're telling me to get a job whenever I'm supposed to be teaching you, but you won't give me a job because I know more than you, and that would I don't know understand that. And then there was the other job with the architect. I was going to be an archaeological tech, which that's just writing down measurements and what we found and everything. But I was the only one who could read all these hieroglyphs. I was the only one who could decipher. I was the only one who could tell them what the message is from this stone, or why it was here, why it was placed there. But again, I was not given that job, and that's just a tech job. I should have been in there teaching them how to read these hieroglyphs, what the story is. Why certain stones were used, why they were in certain directions. And I've got artifacts myself that are probably worth millions of dollars, but I don't. I'm just protecting those, and I keep them safe. Um, but I can't get a job that I'm qualified. Well, I'm overqualified for, but they do offer me the job of cleaning dumpsters, cleaning bathrooms, which I did do that for a little while. But I just COVID broke out at that time, and I said if anybody gets COVID around me or anything like that, I'm just walking straight out this door. And maybe it's about 3 months into the job, we found out that there was an infected person in the store and that they'd been there before. And since nobody told me, I just went and clocked out and walked out. I said, I'm not going to be around here. And then everybody else is getting sick. They're getting swabbed. They're getting infected. But I'd gotten out before all that hit. So, and that, I even hate asking, another friend to help cover, which is the $12 or the $17 for the live stream. But I was telling her, I said, I need to keep up with this because, this is the only way I can get this information out. And if this shuts down, then I'll find another way, because I always find another way, to get this information out. But this is the first time I'm able to get to a wider, larger audience, and a lot of people who do know me or has conversed with me in the past. You'll see them on the other channels, and they'll be directing people this way, and they'll say, this guy over here, he'll tell you why. Or he will show you exactly what to do. He won't guess. He won't give an opinion. He'll tell you exactly what you need to do. And but I do thank everybody for your support. And I'm going to keep going and doing this, and I'm going to keep giving y'all all the information. And we was talking the other day that some of the information that we're sharing, a lot of people are not supposed to know. You're supposed to be kept in the dark a certain way, so that you don't disrupt anything. You stay just like everybody else. But once you know all this information, there's another path. That there's more knowledge out there. You'll know that you've been lied to about the truth, or the true history of Earth, and how this is a spiritual place, and how we have to become more spiritual, more energetic, more truth talkers. And that's going to keep our connection for anything that could possibly happen. Let's see. Cliff says, he said the D word. I'm going to say it, and I hope nobody gets offended. I don't use language all this time, but I do like to read the comments. Cliff says, damn, Jerry, you are a better man than me. I would have sold out for that $3 million annually. And, a lot of people, they went behind our backs. And so we're still holding our ground, saying, no, the leaders went behind our backs and cut that deal. They've got $3 million right off the bat. Actually, no, they got 10 million because they were the leaders. We were like the grunts, staying and holding the ground. Then we found out that they sold out. But the thing is that they passed away less than a year after they took that money. And the rest of us, we're still healthy, still here defending the land and everything. But every one of them that took that money, passed away in like a year or less. And so it's never about the money and monetary and things like that. For me, I only keep the things I need. Like I need these maps so I can teach, and like the people that I know, they help me get these maps. Um, this one was kind of a gift too because I was like, if I had that big map, I could really show people. And but I've been just using these little ones, or if you've got a booklet, I was using those little maps. But other friends were giving, or I was drawing them, hand drawing, for the longest time because I was living off grid because that's the way I wanted to live. To cut myself away from society and everything because I know that when things happen, I already know how to survive. I know what foods to eat and how to help people. SMA, she says, not right. The world needs your knowledge and deserves your knowledge. Genuine souls like you are beautiful and hard to find. You're a teacher everyone should be blessed to know and have. Uh, I was a long time ago. I kind of came into that same thinking because I was thinking, why, if I had a teacher like me when I was growing up or when I was a kid, I could have been so more far advanced than what I am. And then finally, just one day, I just said, I'd better teach because no one knows what I know. And so then I had to break everything down more simple so it's more acceptable because the knowledge is so great that you have to break it down a certain way so that everybody can comprehend it. Because when I first seen these maps and everything, I was like, it's a lot of stars. But then I knew these other ones, and when I really looked at it, every everything just started clicking and going into place. I said, "This is a map. This is the north. This is the south. This is above us." And then I had to look at everything. I was like, and if I want to show you something real fast, and if you just kind of pay attention to it, you'll see that this and all the words, when people come in and they see that, first thing they'll say is, your maps are upside down. Now, everybody who knows this story will say, no, you're upside down, or we're upside down. And when I'm talking to some of the world's best teachers who do presentations over this, I'll tell them, I say, your maps are upside down, because they'll be reading them face up. But if you turn them upside down, they line up east, west, north, and south. They line up perfect. But they don't if you have them right side up. And a lot of the world's best teachers didn't know that for the longest time. And that's why I'm glad we get to share all this here, because a lot of people don't know that you have to read all these maps upside down and backwards, just like the story. We're upside down and backwards. That's why they were sculpted and written that way, so that if you could really read this, you would know to read it upside down and backwards. And then that would take you to the earth, that would take you to the moon, take you to the sun. It would take you all the way back to the story. And that's why we wanted to tell that story to you. And I know if you listen to that story, it doesn't really click until you look at the hieroglyphs. Just like that one hieroglyph that we showed. Once you see those hieroglyphs, you can read them. And if you've never read hieroglyphs or never even paid attention to them, spend a month with this. If you ever get to go to Egypt or a place like that, spend some time here with us, then go over. But I would recommend, start blurting out, this is this, this is this, this and this, because there are people who pay attention to people who have knowledge like that. Because this is not things that are supposed to be known by normal people, I guess you would say. This is all supposed to be a mystery, or they'll say nobody can read these hieroglyphs, but we can. And pretty soon you're going to be reading all these just like me. And when I was reading all these off to some of the world's best, presenters for all these things, they were blown away because they were going, I didn't tell you that much about, this hieroglyph or this ancient stone. And I would tell them that I already know from other experiences, from other stones, other manuscripts. I know the story. And like the presenter who was presenting the Aztec sunstones, when I was writing down, I broke down the Fibonacci sequence. And I don't know if everybody really knows what the Fibonacci sequence, but that starts with zero, zero plus one plus one is two, two plus one is three, three plus two is five, five plus three is eight. But those numbers are not just numbers, they're a part of creation. They're how we are all created. And that was also in my fourth book called The Completion of Time, the Aztec Sunstone Deciphered. And that was the fourth book. I wrote five books, but those books have all this information that I'm sharing with y'all. And like we was talking, me and Malcolm the other day, I said, this is warrior training. What I'm doing is I'm teaching you to be warriors, because if you don't have this information, if you don't have the knowledge, you cannot be a warrior fully. You can't understand that a warrior's job is to protect the earth. Um, there's a lot of techniques that I've been teaching in these last episodes that I really want people to pay attention to. And if you haven't heard those techniques, go back a couple episodes. Just do the binge, like I think it was SMA said she's going to do some binging on these videos. But we do talk about techniques, how to run in the forest, how to block everything, how to block the mind speak so you don't get connected, um, how to use your body, all the defenses and offenses that we have. We've covered quite a bit, but we still have a lot to cover. Um, and you're going to be surprised, or people are going to be surprised, if you start bringing up the Fibonacci sequence, the flower of life, all these ancient stones that the Voynich manuscript that nobody has been able to decipher. I've deciphered. It's easy once you know all this, and you know the Fibonacci sequence. Um, the COVID virus configuration that was put out by the doctor who was doing it, I broke that one down in less than 5 minutes. And that's why I was telling people you can beat COVID, because it's a live virus. It's a predator. Use the cedar, use the peppermint, use those minerals, use those flowers. Build your body back up, and it will fight for you. Um, and like we were talking about, with the system, that healing system we shared, we've cured cancer, lupus, diabetes, high blood pressure, thyroid, COVID, um, and all the people who are borderline, who asked for assistance because the doctors had concerns. We just got a call back maybe about a week ago after someone who did the program for 3 months, and the doctors, there's no concerns. Body levels are all back up. She had a heart checkup. Doctor said, "See you in a year. You're doing great. You're healthy." And so now her joints and pains have gone. She's talking about coaching again, getting the basketball court up. She's staying with the program. So all this information that we're sharing is important, because we want you to know everything. And I used to teach at the different universities as a guest speaker from here to El Salvador, but I'd always come back home and teach the Choctaw students at Southeastern Oklahoma State University. And I'd always be invited in. They'd always say, whenever you're in town, please come by, because I would do what we talked about, the medicine wheel, which it's all connected. Everything is. I was teaching astrology to them. I was teaching cosmology. I was teaching energies, planet alignments, frequencies, colors. I was teaching them all these things that they're not getting at the university, and they all did great. They all graduated, because I also told them about intent. Your intent is one of the most important things besides hope. But when you intend something, follow through with that, and you will get through that. But we had lots of talks with the students, and they learned a lot, and we were happy to share all that information with them. Cliff says, That's not even worth it. Only having a year to spend 10 million ain't worth it. No, it wasn't. Not for them. And like us, we didn't take a penny, and we're still here, and we're still helping people, and we're still healthy. But it was like they said, like SMA karma. Um, it is real. Yeah, what you do affects energy, and that's how we look at things. Always set good energy out there, and you'll have it back at you. If you speak the truth, you will be protected. Negative things won't come at you. Deceivers can't come at you. Bigfoots can't connect with you if you're a truth speaker because it's a deceiver. So it can't get in. But but like I said, we all been taught at a young age to lie, cheat, steal, and all those things. And that's also with the dream catcher. The dream catcher is the Aztec sunstone. The dream catcher is the sunstone. The dream catcher is the predator. The dream catcher is the deceiver. That web is designed to catch all of us when we pass, when we die, because we turn back to energy. We're taught to go up whenever we're supposed to be here. We're taught to leave our home. And when we do that, there's a dream catcher up there that's got a web. And if you don't know to not hit those white lines, and the highway's the same way, you hit that white line, you're food. Um, that's why you always, no matter what, it could be a different car violation, but if you hit that line, you're always going to have to pay for it because they feed off of that white line. No matter if you just barely touch it. If they see you touch that white line, that's guaranteed money because it's like a spider line. That's money. You just rang the dinner bell, and you'll watch. They might throw out your speeding ticket. They may throw out your no seatbelt ticket, but they're going to get you with that white line. You're going to pay something. That's food. And realize that our system is built this way also. Um, and we'll get into a lot more uh, information because there is a lot to cover. Let's see. It's on like Donkey Kong Rock. Cliff says, "Laugh out loud, Rock." I like that Phrase. Rock says, "The elitists of the world do not want us to have resources or hidden knowledge. They worship demons. Basically, is quite sad. Yes, that is true." Rock says they want us out of the way so they can build a new world order, build back better without us, of course, just like they told us on a predicted program, Georgia Guidestones. Yes. And we did, I think we got into that Georgia Guidestones, um, and that all started in 2018. If you look at the summer solstice, 2018, Stonehenge, you will see that the sun did not rise up between the pillars. It came at a 45-degree angle. And before that, in March of 2018, all of us who were listening, we heard it go bloop, bloop, bloop. And I said, we just sunk. We just went down. And we heard it like it was just out in the world. But nobody believed us, of course, until Stonehenge. And then they seen that it went at a 45-degree angle. And this part of the world, the beaches went out for a mile. This side of the world started flooding. And that's just water displacement. And the Georgia Guidestones. There's a circle there where the sun always come up. And the Georgia Guidestone was not supposed to go into effect until the sun does not go up in there. And in 2018, it missed that mark. And then that's when they started with vaccinations, G5, uh, just trying to wipe people out, and they've already infected a lot of people. Rock says, I've heard it said that if you're not on a government watch list, you need to step up your patriotism. Yes, they want everybody disarmed. But this also goes with the Bigfoot too, because when everybody's disarmed, all they got to do is push them into any town, any city. They don't have to do the work. The Bigfoots will do the work. And you'll read those things in the Bible too. Um, Cliff says, "Yep, they control everything you see from TV to media and Hollywood. Once you wake up, it's like being in a movie, The Matrix. Yes, it is like that. It's a good phase cooking cheeseburger. All this talk makes me hungry. All it's all symbolism, um, like the Hollywood one hand over one eye. Yes, one hand over one eye. Which eye? Like even when we get into the letters, we're going to talk about the Fibonacci sequence, but we're also going to be talking about letters. Like the first letter of the alphabet, the letter A. A lot of people don't know that the letter A stands for light. Um, the the eye over the piercing, the light that we're getting. You'll see that eye or the pyramid, the pyramid, the fire in the middle. Um, you'll see, uh, yes, the left eye, and see, we're teaching you all this, and now you're going to see everything. Like my friend who I taught before, he said that once we were through, he could read any book. He could understand every book, including the Bible. He could understand movies. He could understand because a lot of predictive programming is in these movies. But like the left eye, the patch, Hollywood, entertainers, you're gonna see all these symbols all over the place now. Once you can read the hieroglyphs, you're gonna know exactly what they're doing. Michael Jackson's he went into the pyramid phase theme in his later years because he was finding all this out too, and then of course he was killed. So um, I sent out the PayPal for whoever is able to help out. I'm just looking for enough to cover um, uh, this stream. I'll do some checking. I'll see how much it costs and everything. I don't think it's more than $12 or $17, but unfortunately, it's just something I don't have right now. But I do have another friend who's supposed to be taking care of it. He was supposed to call back today, but he hasn't came through yet. Um, Rock says that's why they want high tech G5 and nanotech social crediting coring run by AL, which also goes with the cryptocurrency, the crypt, death, the current, the C is actually space. So, yes, do not allow it. Like China, social credit scoring. Yeah, it's all about getting all your resources. Because remember, what they used first, they used minerals. They used our minerals. They made coins. Then they wanted to use the trees. They wanted to make paper. So we're actually burning up our own resources. Then now they're using water as the blue gold. And now they got the currency or the cryptocurrency, the dead money, which is no money, which means just control. Also, if you take the COVID, when they're talking about the mark of the beast on that one too, look up the patent number. It's 060606 for the patent for the COVID virus. Um, so people are taking that mark already. Whoever's taking that vaccination is already taking that mark, that number. And that's what we do. We look up everything. If they want to give us a virus that's supposed to help us, we want to know what's in it. We want to know the ingredients. We want to know your patent number. We want to know where it came from. We want to know who holds the patent. Um, Rock says, yep, like the Hayes, Montana, they took the uranium, then moved right down the line. Yep. Yeah, it's all about us burning up our own livelihood for us to use our own resources and to do all this to ourselves. Yes, it is all strategic warfare. Yes, Rock, it is strategic. It's a plan. That's why all the tribes have been pushed to Oklahoma. This is a bigger plan. Now, if you've ever heard of something called the end game, that's where we're getting you to know everything about that. It's been played on other planets. Like we talked about, other planets or other places have been attacked. It's worked on other places. It's it's all set up and designed the same way here. All the original lines or all the original bloodlines are in the middle. All the predators are making their way towards Oklahoma. And if you've not noticed, we've got a lot of predators in Oklahoma. Uh, yes, Rock, it's deeper. But that's a big story. Yes, that's down the rabbit hole. That's why, if you know about the rabbit hole, you know what followed it here. You know how the Bigfoot began. You know the DNA of the Bigfoot. Um, but it all is a plan to have a predator like that amongst us to get as close to us as possible for the end game. And these things, we can talk about these things here because they're on the maps, they're on the stones, and once we can read these stones, we know that we are all being set up. And and I don't know how they think that they're going to control it because it hasn't been controlled on any other planet. If they think that they can outlast things and creatures 10, 20 years, whatever, it's not going to happen. They're still a food source, and these creatures can dig into anything. They can get into any bunker, especially if they know food is there. Nothing's going to stop them. So that's why we're sharing all this information. We want y'all prepared. We want y'all spiritually awakened. We want y'all to know how to use your natural abilities, how to protect yourself, and in this physical world too, how to protect yourself when you're out camping, how to help your children not run away or not run into the forest lines because you know there is danger out there. Do your scouting. Take care of your families. Um, I'm going to go ahead and close tonight. I didn't know we was on for almost 3.5 hours. I have had another great night, another great time sharing this information and talking with everybody and going over that test. I do. Rock says, now take a look at the Rothschilds and elongated skull. He also says, and many other examples like the Egyptians. He also says, then you'll see why they hate us and feel entitled to the whole planet without us. SMA says, thank you so much. Yes, I appreciate it, everybody. I'm glad everybody was able to tune in and listen to what we were able to share tonight. I know that y'all knew that hieroglyph now, so you're reading hieroglyphs already. Before, if I showed that to you, you wouldn't have knew what we was talking about. You know the story, although some of us should go back over and read that story again or listen to those things. Cliff says, good night. SMA says, thank you so very much. Cliff says, thank you, Jerry. Good night, everyone. Yes, everyone have a great night. We will be back tomorrow. Looks like we have a lot of good people here as a backup. And I will be getting a hold of my other friend tomorrow to see where he's at, see where we're at. And if we don't need any help, then we'll let you know also. But I do want to thank you for considering giving us that support so we can keep going, so we can keep sharing. We got a lot more to share, and it's a pleasure to do this. Because like I was telling people, all this information doesn't do me any good, especially if I can't get it to the rest of the people. Everybody needs to know the truth, and that's what we're sharing is the truth with you. Um, Thank everybody again. I don't. Oh, okay. I lost my controls. Thank you again, everybody. I had a great night. I wish you all well. And Malcolm, he says, or SMA says, night, everyone. Or not everyone. Malcolm says, good night, everyone. Rock says, thanks, Jerry. And thank y'all for coming back and tuning in so that we could share more. And even just us talking like this, we share a lot of information because we just talk about knowledge and everything. I appreciate everyone's support. Um, Everything should be okay now. We will be back 9:30 tomorrow night. Um, we're gonna go over a lot more things for the traps, more things to look for out there when you're out there. We're gonna go over just a little bit more from when time began. We're gonna get to the dinosaurs, get through the ice age. Uh, we're gonna take you there, and then we're just gonna keep moving forward and so that you know everything, contracts and deals, why certain things are certain ways, secret handshakes that you need to be aware of. Also, how to read more of the hieroglyphs. We'll go over those. And then we still got to get to the Fibonacci sequence. So there's still a lot that we have to do. But I do appreciate everybody. And Kathy says thanks and good night. I appreciate everybody. Everybody have a great night. Get some good rest. Get some sleep. I'm sorry that we stayed up a little bit late, but it was just a lot of information, and we still have a lot we still have to share with you. So watch some of these broadcasts over again so that we are all caught up and we're all on the same page. Because when we're like that, we just fly then. Okay, Malcolm says Yakoki Enakfi, which means thank you, brother. So on me, which means yes in my language or our language. Thank y'all. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. sharp. Had a great time.